in Surah Al-Kahf now speaks about the doubt that the different parties split in terms of like guessing how many people were there. So throughout the years, people forgot how many people were these. And then, subhanallah, maybe what comes to my mind right now is the split between the Muslimin on to be honest, like insignificant issues. This ayah tells us there was a discussion. So after these 7 people left the city, over time, 300 years, people loved them, people praised them, people made them as the sole story of the town that defined beliefs. And as you know, basically bit by bit, the whole Roman Empire became Christian. So Christianity became the de facto religion for the whole empire. And that means these 7 people were basically saints, kind of like what Christians say, the saint something. They became like saints. Yeah. And as you know, in Christianity, quickly it's easy to create differences and dogmas and denominations and different churches and so forth. So سيقولون 3 رابعهم كلبهم ويقولون 5 سادسهم كلبهم رجما بالغيب. So two parties, each one party said 3, one party said 5. They were trying to say how many of these saints were there. It seemed everybody knew that there was a dog, because like maybe that old man that gave the dog, like, yeah, I had these people pass by, they bought a dog from me. Maybe they bought the dog from that old man before leaving to the wilderness. And so over time they didn't know how many. As things get forgotten. ويقولون 7 وثامنهم كلبهم قل ربي أعلم بعدتهم ما يعلمهم إلا قليل. SubhanAllah, brothers and sisters, it's very important today. The Christians back then, they differed and they created different sects. There were 3 sects. A sect that says that these saints were 3, a sect that says that these people were 5, and a sect on the truth that said basically it's 7. Yeah. The first 2 were just speaking without evidences. SubhanAllah. Today, issues of simple significance creates sects in Islam. A sect is a group of people that say we are different from everybody else. It's not just mere difference. Like for example, the Hanafis and the Shafi'is, they differ in certain masail. For example, in Takbirat al-Eid, is it 7 or is it 5? Is it 7 or it's 5? So there's difference in opinion. But you don't say, oh, like, you look, man, you do your 7 takbirat, I do my 5 takbirat, we can't pray with each other, khalas. You're not a Muslim, or you are yani mubtada. You're an innovator. No, these differences are accepted, they're respected, tolerated, because they emanate from the Quran and Sunnah through a valid ijtihad, which is a process of judicial extraction of the rulings from Islamic text. Today, for example, the issue of sifat. Does Allah have a hand or does Allah doesn't have a hand? Is it invisible hand or is it material hand? Is it physical hand or physical hand? Did Allah subhanahu sit on the throne? He didn't sit on the throne. Did he actually did he go down bit by bit and bend his back? Astaghfirullah al-azim. All this craziness creates divisions amongst people. See what I'm saying? Now, definitely, al-iyadh billah, anybody who reports any physical attributes to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is a kafir. If he is ignorant, he is mubtada'. He is a person of bid'ah. Due to ignorance, unfortunately. Yeah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not a physical thing. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is eternal, unlimited. لا تدركه الأبصار. He's not physical. The eyes can't see him. He's not physical. and ليس كمثله شيء. It's not like anything else. Well, the matter is physical, creation is physical. Allah is not physical. He is as-samad, he's independent of space and time. If he's physical, he is dependent on space and time. He is not physical. He's beyond physical. He transcends time and space and the physics of the world. So anybody who says that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has any physical attributes, astaghfirullah al-azim, that person is a deviant. But still, and unfortunately, these are the most people that create division in the ummah. Deviancy is the root cause anyway. But even if it's not from this deviant group of people, people always wants to know: how do you take the sifat of Allah? Is it this way or that way? It doesn't really matter, as long as it is from the three accepted schools of thoughts that are Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah. What is Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah? Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah are the Ash'aris, and they are the majority, and the Maturidis, which come next, they're the second majority, and then the Atharis, which are Ahl al-Hadith, which are a minority. Those three schools of thought, they're one sect. We don't call them three sects. They're one sect amongst themselves. They're called Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, and within this one big sect, there's three schools of thought. There are three schools of thought. Same thing with the fiqh. There's 4 schools of thought within Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah. Everything else basically might actually have some blemishes. So anybody who tries to basically divide the ummah and divide Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah amongst each other, and claim that certain people from Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah who are not, he is a deviant. That person is a deviant, and we will never accept him as a true representative of the Islamic Tawheed or Islamic orthodoxy. The Islamic orthodoxy is Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah with the Ash'ari and the Maturidiyya and the Athariyya. The Athariyya. And I'm speaking about the classical Athariyya, not whoever likes to call themselves whatever they want to call themselves. But this ayah talks about that. This ayah talks about the sectarianism at the time of the Roman Empire. People became declined after hundreds of years, and they started fighting and bickering amongst each other. No. There's 3 saints, not 5 saints. It's not 7 saints. It's 3 saints, and we are the Trinitarian. We are the 3 saints. Denomination. It says no, it's 5. It's 5 saints. We're the quintuple blah 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 blah. See what I'm saying? Astaghfirullah. It shouldn't be like that. Even if basically people reach the conclusion there's 3 or 5, it doesn't really matter. Who cares? There were some saints, some good people. Saints means salih, some 7 good from the salihin. And they sacrifice their lives for the sake of their deen, and you can basically tell this faqsus al-qasas. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us to narrate the stories of goodness and the good people. It's fine, no problem. The stories of the anbiya, who are the leaders of the salihin, and the stories of the hawariyin, like the Sahaba radiallahu anhu, and the hawariyu of Isa alayhi salam, which are they're second to the anbiya. They are the siddiqeen. The stories of the martyrs and the great leaders of the ummah. Who defended Islam and spread it. These are the shuhada. And then there's regular good people. Faqsus al-qasas, narrate the stories so people get inspired. Stories inspire people. It creates this nostalgia. When we recite the Quran and we go through the stories of the Prophets alayhim salam, we get inspired. This inspiration is due to this storytelling that mirrors human to human psychology. You see sacrifice, you see being noble, you see trust, you see human examples at its best. And now you don't get divided and khalas, this guy's we're different sect, we are the firqa najiyah, we are the saved sect, we're the saved this. Don't call yourself sect. The minute you call yourself a sect, you've left the ummah of Islam. You've left the ummah of Islam as a mubtadi' or as a kafir. The Qadianis and the Ismailis are kuffar. The Shia are mubtadi'ah, for example. See what I'm saying? Now they're still Muslimin. You need to understand, a person having a bid'ah, it's a choice. We still respect them as Muslimin. They're Muslimin. From a perspective of Iman and Kufr, there's either a Muslim or a Kafir. There's nothing in between. A Muslim can be sinner, and we're all sinners. So basically, really, there's small sinners and big sinners, and medium sinners. Just understand that. It's very important to accept the Muslim as a Muslim, with all his ills, with all her flaws. That's how it works. We have flaws. Everybody has their flaws. So that's one thing that happened during this 300 years. People became sects due to, instead of like being happy and being inspired by these teenagers to hold strong to their deen. No, they divided. Anyway, so they became sects. فلا تمار فيهم إلا مراء ظاهرا ولا تستفت فيهم منهم أحدا. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, do not argue in their numbers. Yeah, anybody. No, don't do a debate. Don't debate people due to these, because it's not even issues like ولا تستفت فيهم منهم أحدا, and don't even ask about their numbers, and don't ask for fatwa about their numbers. It's not an issue of fatwa. It doesn't matter if it's 3, 5, 7. It doesn't matter. It's not an issue. See what I'm saying? ولا تقولن لشيء إني فاعل ذلك غدا إلا أن يشاء الله واذكر ربك إذا نسيت وقل عسى أن يهديني ربي لأقرب من هذا رشدا. So another lesson in human behavior. When you want to do something, don't just say I'm going to be doing something. Don't say I will be doing something. Say inshallah. Illa inshallah. Don't say that I'm going to be doing this tomorrow. Don't say that. Don't say I'm going to do this thing maybe in like tonight. Illa inshallah. Say inshallah, I'll be doing something. And if you forget to say inshallah, and you say I'm going to be doing something, واذكر ربك إذا نسيت. If you forget, then remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Do dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وقل, and say عسى أن يهديني ربي لأقرب من هذا رشدا. Maybe because I forgot to say inshallah, maybe Allah didn't want this thing. Maybe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala didn't want me to do such a thing. So if you remember that you forgot, counter this forgetfulness with a dua. اذكر الله, and say عسى أن يهديني ربي. It says I wish Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to guide me لأقرب من هذا رشدا, to what's closer, or what's more closer to the truth than this path. Okay, because you forgot to say inshallah. If you don't say inshallah on something, يعني تمهل, meaning basically slow down a little. Slow down. Maybe do istikhara. Rethink it through. Maybe it's not the right thing. Do mashura, and ask some advice of the experts, of the people of wisdom who've done it before you. But if you forget to say inshallah, yeah, it's a signal that you should slow down a little bit. وَلَبِثُوا فِي كَهْفِهِمْ 300 سِنِينَ وَازْدَادُوا تِسْعًا. Now Allah subhanahu goes back to the story. He says, like, and these youngsters, these teenagers who left their town to truly live their deen, and not to give up any of their beliefs. They Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made them sleep in their cave for 309 years. 309 years. But the way the 309, Allah didn't say basically 300 سنين. He said was dead, he said and 9. He says, and then they had a little bit more time for 9 more years. So it seems that was a signal between the Gregorian calendar, which is 300 years, and then the lunar calendar, which is 9. So it's like was dead, and there's an additional 9 if you are thinking of the lunar calendar. It seems basically this is the signal for that. قُلِ اللَّهُ أَعْلَمُ بِمَا لَبِثُوا. Say Allah is all knowing about how much they spent. Again, it doesn't matter. They spent 300 years, 200 years, 500 years. It doesn't really matter. That's not an issue of debate. People basically take on the smallest things and they debate it. له غيب السماوات والأرض أبصر به وأسمع ما لهم من دونه من ولي ولا يشرك في حكمه أحدا. له غيب السماوات والأرض. He has the knowledge of the unseen of the heavens and earth. Yeah. Get to know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Realize His existence. Hear the effects of His creation. So see His creation. Listen to His creation. So you can recognize through the limitedness of these creatures that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala must have created them in the first place. ما لهم من دونه من ولي. These creatures, anything that's created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't have the ability. They don't have any protector. They don't have any maintainer. They don't have any sustainer. They don't have any guardian. They don't have any caretaker except Allah. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala يشرك في حكمه أحد. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not let anybody partner up with Him in the issue of governance and setting laws. Who is the lawmaker? To Allah. ولا يشرك في حكمه أحد, meaning الحاكمية لله. What does it mean الحاكمية لله? Meaning Allah is the only hakim. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not allow partners in Him doing hukum or tahkim. Yeah? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not let anybody, anybody, partner or participate in lawmaking with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He's the only lawmaker. He's al-hakim, lawmaker. He's the lawmaker. Nobody else. He is al-malik. He's a king. What is a king? King, lawmaker. He's a sovereign. وَاتْلُ مَا أُوحِيَ إِلَيْكَ مِنْ كِتَابِ رَبِّكَ لَا مُبَدِّلَ لِكَلِمَاتِهِ وَلَنْ تَجِدَ مِنْ دُونِهِ مُلْتَحَدًا. Says, and recite as much as you can of Allah's wordings. Of Allah's wordings. لا مبدل لكلامه, meaning the Quran will never change. It's fully preserved. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the message of Islam, brothers and sisters, some people are doubtful. What is Islam? There's so much interpretation. There's the Shia, there's the Sunni, there's the Sufi, there's the Salafi, there's the Ikhwani, there's this, there's that, there's Jama'at Islami. You know what I'm saying? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, لا مبدل لكلماته. The words of Allah are unchangeable. Meaning the same message that was clear to the Sahaba is the same message that we have today. You cannot basically get misguided. You can't, unless you choose to. Unless you choose to. وَلَنْ تَجِدَ مِنْ دُونِهِ مُلْتَحَدًا. You will never find a protector other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There's no protection from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَاصْبِرْ نَفْسَكَ مَعَ الَّذِينَ يَدْعُونَ رَبَّهُمْ بِالْغَدَاةِ وَالْعَشِيِّ يُرِيدُونَ وَجْهَهُ ولا تعد عيناك عنهم تريد زينة الحياة الدنيا ولا تطع من أغفلنا قلبه عن ذكرنا واتبع هواه وكان أمره فرطا. والله يا أخي, this ayah needs a whole lecture on its own, to be honest. SubhanAllah. It's a powerful ayah. It says, restrain yourself to be the friend of the believers, those who call upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the day and in the night, after sunrise and after sunset. بالغداة والعشي, after sunrise, والعشي, after sunset. Those who do dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, those who make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala after those two timings, stay with them, stick with them. They're always making da'wah and dua, both da'wah and dua. يدعون ربهم is يدعون إلى ربهم. Also يدعون ربهم is basically to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for guidance. So They're making dua to Allah and da'wah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala after sunrise and after sunset. They're always with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yuriduna wajha, meaning all they're seeking in their life is the pleasure of Allah. So it says yuriduna wajha, meaning they seek His face. It's as if, how do we understand this? Definitely it's figurative speech. This cannot be literal speech. They're not looking for Allah's face. Nobody's going to be looking for Allah's face. You don't go and basically run around looking, where's Allah's face? Can I see Allah's face? It's called craziness, nonsensical. But again, some sect today that's deviant continues to say, no, Allah in this one, His face is literal. Allah has a physical face. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has a physical face, and people are going to be looking for that. Yuriduna, meaning they're looking for it. It's craziness. This is active craziness. Yeah. So this is non-scholarly in any way or shape. Yuriduna wajha Allah, meaning they want His what? His pleasure. His pleasure. Is He pleased with them or no? وَلَا تَعْدُ عَيْنَاكَ عَنْهُمْ تُرِيدُ زِينَةَ الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا. And don't let your eyes even look away from these people. Now, this is powerful. Allah, this is powerful. This is powerful because it tells you to stick with the believers and don't even let your eyes look somewhere else. Don't let these eyes look over there. Don't look over there. Don't. Just stay with the believers. Oh, they're not cool. Doesn't matter. Oh, they're boring. Doesn't matter. Oh, they're not fun. Doesn't matter. Stick with the believers. Stick with the believers. Stick with those who are doing the proper tasbih after sunrise, after sunset. Those who basically set time for themselves to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, make dhikr and do dua. These are people that are Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves subhanahu wa ta'ala. طيب, it is 6:59. Inshallah, jazakumullah khair for listening. We'll continue this longer ayah next time, just so we can even touch base again on it. May Allah bless you and forgive you and forgive us. Allah, make us from those who are forgiven and those who are saved from hellfire. Allah subhanahu make us from those who their salat and zakat and qiyam and siyam are accepted. Ameen, ameen, ameen. Sallallahu ala rasulil kareem. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. And jazakallah khairan, Sheikh, for the amazing and beautiful tafsir. So we are done, guys. And before we go, just remember the exciting events coming on this weekend. And yeah, that is it. We will see you guys tomorrow, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.